Asian Americans who are college or university level professors, presidents. How do you see that improving, or the attitude among your fellow university presidents? Is that attitude changing? Is there more of an acceptance?
An excellent question. I don't think it's changing significantly. And that's an admission of personal failure, okay? Because as I said, I am chair of this national committee, but there are only 5 of us total, and 1 or 2 of them, they're not there, you know, if something else happens, there may be 3 of us having breakfast together, you know, that sort of thing. So it's an admission of personal failure, but I'm a bit of a geek. I mean, I believe in a lot of data. So I've shared this data. I've actually tracked, based on national data. This is not data I collected. This is nationally available data. I've tracked the progress of all minorities. By the way, this is not an Asian American paper. I published these papers and so on. Of all minorities along the pipeline, starting from bachelor's enrollment to bachelor's graduation. On through master's, doctoral, then assistant professor, associate professor, tenure, department chair, and finally chief executive. And I show that it is that different minorities require different help at different stages of these pipelines. So for example, what I do as president of the University of West Georgia, I've made African Americans, particularly African American males, a major priority. And we spend, I'd like to say a lot of resources, but in today's world, a lot of resources on that, human resources as well as monetary, because that's the group that requires the most help today. And so I believe in this analytical look at things, saying those minorities that need different help at different stages, you need to focus. You don't need to be blanketing people saying, oh, this group needs help, this group doesn't need help. Well, different groups need help at different stages. So I've shared this presentation with chancellors of major university systems and so on, trying to make an effort. I would not give myself or this group a very high grade yet. But I do want to place on record that when these things happen, they happen because of exceptionally fine people, typically outside the Asian American community. Because again, remember, when you're dealing with 5 in the country or 7 in the country, those people can't affect so much change. But for example, when I gave you the story of there being a major protest when I was a candidate for the presidency, the hero of that story is the chancellor, who happened to be a white male, who withstood that pressure. Because it would be very easy to say, and you've heard this phrase, all of you have probably heard this phrase, well, given the adverse reaction, this poor fellow can't possibly succeed. Let's do him a favor and not make him president. Right. You know, that would be the automatic thing. And the search committee is the other hero, because the search committee, being aware of this, please understand that all these people, I was the one who was not aware of this. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was in Texas, had another job. And they were facing all this pressure, and they stood tall, and they stood strong. These are the heroes, so that when you, all of you in this room, get pressured not to hire someone because of some fake, non-business related thing, you should be resisting that. These are the heroes, not the person who actually, not the Asian American who got the job. That's not the hero of the story. The hero of the story is the people who resisted that pressure and who made the decision based on campus opinion, based on whatever the criteria were. Let me end with a funny story, because I don't want to end on a serious note like this. When this was happening, I mean, there was a lot of uproar and so on, and the chancellor, who knew that he was going to make this decision, was very worried as to what the newspaper would say when this happened. And as I said, I was unaware of it, being I was in the #2 position at a university in Texas. Well, when he saw the AJC headline, he just laughed, because it said, Board of Regents appoints Texan to the presidency.